was already before Parliament, before it went to shrug. It was already before Parliament. It started when the Auditor General sent a report to Parliament that talked about the building of the wall in Burkina Faso at a cost that was described as outrageous. You remember? So Parliament started an inquiry that the matter should be investigated. You remember? You remember all of that? So this matter was before Parliament. The notice to the Speaker had been done long ago. Long ago, for Parliament to investigate. Had been sent long ago. I will give you the dates. Well, I would like the minority to give us the dates that they wrote to the Speaker. So it cannot be that the matter was before shrug and then Parliament wants to be seized of it. No. You see? Now, this business of, yes, the provision that talks about the what the Speaker should do says that when 15% of the members sign a notice, the Speaker shall call Parliament. And my senior brother is saying that, so the Speaker acted rightly. But what you need to ask yourself is that why was the Speaker required to call Parliament? Why? Why did the Constitution provide that when the Speaker gets a notice signed by 15% of the members of Parliament, requiring for this, the Speaker shall, even that's when Parliament is in recess, the Speaker shall. Why was that provision there?
So for you, he should have allowed the debate. I think that's where you're...
No, not for me, you yourself, right? I mean, you see, right, it's not me. We are having a discussion.
Right.
I mean, why is the mandatory requirement? You see, the Constitution didn't say the Speaker may.
It says shall.
You say shall.
But that's what you were questioning.
So, can I finish, Senior? You see, say shall. Why is the Constitution mandating the Speaker to call Parliament? Because you cannot call Parliament just to come and drink tea. You're calling Parliament so that the matter will be considered. And how are matters considered in Parliament? After debate, and then a decision is taken. After the debate, you then say, those for the motion say aye. Those against say no. That's the end of the matter. Even if the Speaker, you want to take the decision, you must listen to the debate. Because that is why you must call Parliament.
But this is also wrong.
But you agree? You agree with me?
Well, I don't know if I should agree, but is it also wrong for the Speaker to suggest that under Article 287, the Constitution mandates that complaints be sent to SHRAG, investigated exclusively by SHRAG, and so perhaps the Speaker's ruling is also in the right direction.
I have told you that if matters of abuse of office have to be investigated exclusively by SHRAG, as the Speaker says that's how he understands it, then why were the matters of the judges not taken to SHRAG? Why were the matters involving the minister, the boss branding to put John Mahama's face on public buses, why was it not taken to SHRAG? You see, now, Bright, you see, this matter, when you look at the bare facts of the matter, it's very incriminating. And it goes to the integrity of President Mahama. So they themselves should be anxious that an investigation is done and a thorough investigation is done. Look at a situation where we have been told that a contractor who's looking for a public contract and is not getting for 2-3 years, he's not getting the contract. He goes to see Vice President Mahama in pursuit of this contract. They become friends. Now, in the course of that relationship with Mahama, with the contractor looking for a contract, he is now able to secure 2 or 3 contracts. And there's controversy about the contracts. The Auditor General raised the matter of the construction of the wall, which was given to this contractor in from Burkina Faso. Then it turns out that the contractor had given a gift of a full drive to President Mahama. Immediately, is conflict of interest. Because you see, you got a gift in the circumstances where the person who gave you the gift was looking for a contract from government. So immediately, because the President Mahama himself, we don't have time, otherwise I'd have read his own code of ethics. He says his ministers should not accept gifts that are more than $50. Now, if your ministers cannot accept gifts that are more than $50, why are you accepting gifts worth $100,000? And then they tell us that, well, the gift was to the state. The gift was to the state. Who was the head of state at that time? Who was the head of state at that time, if the gift was to the state? The head of state at that time was President Mills. It was President Mills. And then it comes in the gift comes in somewhere in September, October 2012.
2012, right.
And then 3-4 months down the line, in February 2013, the gift that is supposed to be for the state is declared as a second-hand car at Tema. And duty of 23,000 Ghana cedis paid on something that is meant to be a gift for the state. Now, gift for the state. How does it stay in President Mahama's possession for 3-4 months? Something that is for the state.
It stayed with him for 3 months?
Yeah, because the car entered Ghana in October 29. And it was then declared in February 2013. October, November, December, January, February. 3-4 months. So something that is meant for the state. Why was it kept and used by President Mahama for 3-4 months? And then, something that is meant for the state, assuming he was testing it. Let's say he was testing it. So why then did he have the car declared at Tema as a second-hand car and duty paid on it? How is something that is meant for the state of Ghana and duty is being paid and is being declared as second-hand? You see, so the facts of the matter are so incriminating. So I would wish that for my brother's sake, I'm talking of President Mahama, for his own sake and the integrity of the presidency, we should have some proper investigation, especially when he says that, no, I'm disputing these facts, so that the world can see that, oh, no, this because of what is in the world today are these basic facts, as you know, and as I've reminded you. And with this basic facts hanging around his neck, he is happy. And when they say there should be investigation, when they say there should be investigation,
let me put that question to
I think your submission basically is pointing to expression of doubt and perhaps even casting aspersions on the integrity of Shraj to be able to investigate this matter and put the matter before the Ghanaian public. You have taken a stand. You have even claimed that it's incriminating when the matter has not been thoroughly investigated. You've virtually concluded on this whole situation from your perspective, that this is, why did the vehicle stay for 3 months? They pay so much if it's for the state. I mean, these are not things that you should be declaring publicly until it's been properly investigated by a duly constituted body. I think all of these things will just be speculations. And as I said, knowing NPP, it is perhaps just part of this whole program of trying to ramp up, disaffection towards the presidency in their bid to come to power, which obviously is not going to happen anyway. So I think that they should just let's step down the debate on this particular issue and allow the institutions of state to work, because the speaker acted. If you say that, and again, you have now admitted that the law, the standing orders or the constitution requires that he shall, upon receipt of the request, comply. He complied, but what he would do within that space of time is also not defined by the constitution. Again, that is determined by the standing orders of Parliament, and his action also was consistent with the standing orders of Parliament. If he's done all of these things, you don't have any reason to start complaining and stretching the issue. I think we're just, as I said before, we are just overflogging this particular issue.
And we should hold on.
Yes, we should hold on until the report comes out.
I'll just,
All
my only last
No,
word
no,
on
no. I
this is
think
that my senior brother, he should, when he goes home, he should go and think about that question that the Constitution says that when the petition
I can assure you, I've
signed-
done that already.
You
I've
have-
reflected.
Okay.
I've reflected and I've
No,
read
you have-
around the
you
subject
have not.
already.
Go home, think about it. That why does the Constitution of Ghana say that when the petition is received, the Speaker shall recall Parliament?
Well, I haven't been in
All right.
Parliament
Men-
before, but I've done.
It cannot be, because if the Speaker says, I will not admit this motion, they say that you should call Parliament. That means that the matter has to be considered by Parliament.
That's what you think.
That's
what do you think? Brett?
Well, I'll have to go and read it.
You let him go home and think about it.
But
That's
you
right.
know,
That's
I can tell you, I've done
No.
tactical backstopping for 3 committees of Parliament.
Stop.
So
Right.
I'm sure I know a lot about the standing orders of Parliament.
You go and think.
I'm grateful.
Go and think
Let's
about
deal with
it.
this one quickly. The Daily Guide is reporting that the NDC updates manifesto with new ideas. It's suggesting that it is becoming increasingly clear that the delay by the NDC in launching its manifesto is meant to steal some new ideas from the NPP. Hence, the pressure on the presidential candidate of the NPP to please or to release his party's manifesto. According to the Daily Guide, the pressure on the NPP is coming from some party chieftains and the NDC's surrogate groups, suggesting that they're asking the main opposition party to launch its manifesto, ostensibly to copy some of the contents and make them their own, according to inside sources. The paper is suggesting that the NDC's September 17 date that was arrived at will not come off as it waits for the opposition party to come out with more fresh ideas in order for it to incorporate them into its manifesto. However, the NPP says it's not in a hurry to unveil its manifesto because of previous experiences. This manifesto issue, Dr. Haji, let me come to you first. And your manifesto launch didn't come off?
Yeah,
There
it
were
didn't.
some reasons?
Yeah, if you recall, at our campaign launch in the middle of last month, we had given 2 weeks, which would have been this, I think, 28th thereabout. Today is just the 2nd or 3rd. Our General Secretary said it was going to be plus or minus 2 weeks, and so no, plus or minus a couple of days from 2 weeks from then. Now, we've just entered September, and we've given the firm date. I think somebody's even expressing doubt as to whether it will come out. We haven't stopped launching a manifesto because we are afraid MPP will copy it. In fact, for us, we would have even, if time had permitted, we would have launched it long ago for them perhaps to look at what we have on the table. So ours is not because we are afraid that it will be copied. In any case, why do we have to copy? NPP has had 4 years following, and they can't prepare a manifesto and launch it ahead. They did everything ahead because they thought that they wanted to win an election. They elected all the officers in last year or thereabouts. So what were they waiting for? They've been there. In any case, the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's tenure has not ended. Our manifesto is still being implemented. The 2012 manifesto is still being implemented, and our slogan is that we are continuing. So, by implication, there are things in the 2012 manifesto that we are still doing, which we will continue in our next tenure. So, for us, we are not shortchanging the public as to whether we are going to launch our manifesto or not. We are already doing the things that are advancing, are accelerating the development of this country. So, it's nothing extraordinary. We will launch our manifesto. And the president himself even mentioned that the manifesto was ready. It's been ready. Time. He's the chief executive of this country, and so there are things that he's doing. We went for a campaign, and in the north, he had to come down and fly out of the country to attend to other businesses. It's just a question of the appropriate time schedule so we can fit it into his program as well. That's basically it. So we are not, it's not because we are afraid or we've stolen, we are not revising any manifesto anyway.
You're not adding.
We're not adding anything. What we have in our manifesto is what we have in our manifesto. We don't even need one factory per district. We don't need that. We are not going to add that. Or one, now they keep changing. I don't know whether they mean a dam or a borehole.
It's a dam. It's an irrigation.
It's an irrigation dam per village
right.
in the north. Yeah, I mean, why should we put that in our manifesto? Because we know it's not feasible. And in any case, we are doing, if we go to Nasi and Abogo, we've done a huge project. We've done so many of these things. We have on-farm boreholes for continuous irrigation. We're doing all those things already. So I think this issue that they are afraid, and indeed they haven't even honored their obligation to some institutions that have invited them to speak because they claim that they have to launch their manifesto. Has that got to do with NDC as well? No. So NPP is just kind of delaying because they don't have anything to put before the people of Ghana. Otherwise, this whole thing about $1 million per district
constituency.
Per constituency.
Right.
So we're talking about per year, or
yes, every year.
We don't even want to worry about that because some of those things are just attempts to garner votes, and they don't wash. Those things are not very well.
Effectively, the NDC is campaigning on its 2012 manifesto because you've launched your campaign. That's what you're saying.
Well, you see, there are things that we are doing. There will be new initiatives in the new when we launch the manifesto, and the president will be speaking to these issues as well, because development problems change with time. So when the changes occur, you introduce new policies and new programs to respond to those ones appropriately. Some of the things that you are doing, they may be one-off items. You're not going to build another interchange at Nkrumah Circle, but you still do road construction. You don't need to build a new Ridge Hospital, but you still need to build hospitals. So the development challenges remain basically, unless we are promising, things that are not achievable, like we say in the next 4 years we are going to go to space. We won't do that. We are dealing with the mundane challenges that we face, and also introducing new initiatives that can move this country forward faster than we've been doing as well. I mean, I think basically that's what all political parties will be doing anyway. I think that beyond this last manifesto writing, if the long-term national development plan is firmed up, we would draw all our programs from that. In that case, they will not even be talking about somebody wanting to steal your ideas, because if we didn't build a road from the town to airport, Tetakwashi, NPP will not continue it to Ebri. So development has to be continuous, and they are basically the same things, except that you introduce your approach to resolving the problem. They probably would like to use the private sector. We probably would like to use public partnership, private partnership in doing some of the things. So it's more in the approach than the specific things that they have to do. But we are not going to promise unattainable projects.
Within one district, one dam.
Yeah, I mean,
$1 million.
I'm a planner. I mean, I'm a trained planner. I'm a professional planner. All my planning school lessons, none that show that you can put. You see, now they tone down the rhetoric that it's not really a factory, even if you are squeezing sugar cane, it's factory. But that's not what they meant. So there are issues about economies of scale. If you put a factory here, you must determine the size of the market. You have to determine whether you're exporting or not. So we don't even want to engage them.
$275 million a year. I mean, from oil, we can give it to every constituency.
We can,
but is it not possible?
It's possible, but through what processes? There's a local government structure, a local government administration system. Are you going to route it through the district assemblies, the MMDAs, or you are going to create a separate institution? In that case, then you have to go to Parliament to go and seek. You're going to probably get to pass legislation for the spending of that money. Why would we duplicate?
But it is possible. That's what you're saying.
Oh, but that's public money. You can always give that. If that's your decision, why not? I mean, you can give them $275 million.
One constituency, $100 million. So that's $275 million a year.
Yeah, but that's
from the oil we have, we can do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely, is doable. But you see, don't promise things that you can do.
I'm grateful, Dr. Hadi. Nana, so the NDC says it is not interested in any theft of ideas from your manifesto. So I'm sure it settles this whole debate, and very soon we'll see the NPP's manifesto.
You know, the simple question that comes up is that NDC, you say, you know, you don't have a problem, your manifesto is coming, blah, blah. The simple question is this. Why is the NDC shouting on the NPP to produce its manifesto?
Are we?
Oh. He says, are we? He doesn't know. All your people.
Well, you see, and he said no. The NDC has not done
but
that.
you have heard the NDC shouting to the NPP, where's your manifesto? Where's your manifesto? You've heard it.
No, I have not.
No,
you have not.
Can you
No, I
mention a
have-
specific person? Let's not do.
He's just telling us the NDC is not asking the
We are
NPP.
not
No,
even
right.
interested in
You
your
haven't heard
manifesto.
NDC people
No.
coming to sit here and say that the NPP hasn't got a message. Where's our manifesto? Where's our?
Well, what I have
That's a
heard
different
is
story.
there are some of their members suggesting that since it is the opposition party asking for the mandate of the people, then they should
You see,
tell the people their
So
manifesto.
the simple question is this: you are the governing party. You have not released your manifesto. In fact, you have postponed the release 3 times. The last time when you went to Cape Coast, getting the traditional practice of the people disrupted. And then you went to Cape Coast. You said that you are going to launch your manifesto in 2 weeks. You didn't hear that one too.
Yeah, of course we did. And he just explained
And
why.
and
He
and
just
it is
explained why it
one
didn't come
No,
up.
and
but
it's
we
one
said
month.
there was
Can
a condition.
Can I finish? You see, I'm saying that you haven't launched yours, and yet you are calling on somebody to launch theirs. Why? Why? Now, this business about the NPP promise. Listen, Nana Akufo-Addo is going to be the savior of this country. And in 20, 30 years' time, when Nana Addo has become president and gone, we'll be talking about Nana Addo the same way that today we like to talk about Kwame Nkrumah. You see, because what has to be done in this country to lift the people of this country is just one thing: leadership. That's all. Leadership. Look, these NDC people, they went and opened a factory in Commander a couple of months ago. You saw the fanfare. You saw the fanfare.
Right,
That means a factory. It's a very good thing for the people of this country. Okay. That factory cost $35 million. So with $7 billion or $3.5 billion, you can put up 100 of those factories with $3.5 billion. The monies that the NDC has got in the last 7 years, 8 years, 7.5 years, the one they themselves have admitted, the value of the money actually is about 40 billion, but they will fight with you. So they say the nominal value is 18 billion. Okay, so let's take the 18 billion. They've gotten another 3.3 from oil, free money, free, 3.3 billion. So all comes to about 21 billion. If they had used 3.5 and invested in factories, they could have built 100 factories.
Viable factories.
Yes. But this is a country where we import paper, where we import this, plastic, where we import everything. In this your studio, what is made in Ghana here? Everything is imported. apart from my shirt and his shirt. Your shirt, your dress is imported. So there's a huge cry to manufacture. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. We import biscuits. We import chocolates. We import toffees. We import toothpick. Huh? We import sandals. We import shoes. We import mango juice. We import rice. We import pineapple juice. Everything is imported. So there's a huge gap for manufacturing. So this is and we know that the products that we should have a factory for. Sugar, which even though we've opened it, you don't know whether it's closed down, we don't know whether it's been sold, but let's leave that.
At least we know it's closed down now.
Now I understand it's been sold.
Resume in October. It's been sold?
Well, there's some adverts that, anyway. So listen, we import sugar, so we should have a sugar factory. We import biscuit, we should have a biscuit factory. Biscuits alone that we import to this is $18 million a year. We import chocolate. Where we import the chocolate from, Switzerland and England and those places, they haven't seen cocoa tree before. But we import chocolate. We import toothpick, even though we have bamboo rotting in the forest. You see, we import everything. So we should be able to have, you are not now going to do some major, you should be able to have factories that will produce these things for us. We don't. Now I'm saying that you, the government, you realize that factories are the way to go. That's why when we opened one, you had a big fanfare. So why can't you build just 100? Because with 3.5 billion, you can build factories the size of the one you've put in Commander. And 100 factories in this country, our people produce tomato. After they harvest, they commit suicide because there's no market for the tomato. It rots. And yet, this country is the second largest importer of tomato paste in the world. You see, the tomato that our people produce, because there's no market, because tomato within 1 week you must sell it, otherwise guess what? So when they produce, they lose money, and they actually go to the extent of killing themselves because we don't have a factory that would be able to buy the excess tomato and convert it to tomato paste.
So the solution is one day straight, one.
Then we take dollars to go and import tomato paste, and we are the second highest importer. And you can say the same. Our people are raw material producers. You know that there's no money in raw material production. They produce cashew nuts, they produce pepper, they produce pineapple, they produce pawpaw, they produce plantain. There is no processing capacity in this country. Factories can take the excess plantain. And you see, when you have a factory that can process plantain into chips or fufu powder, then somebody like you put down your coat, go and get a loan and go and farm plantain. Because if you farm 100 acres, there's a market for it. And so when somebody says that I will build factories, first they say you can't do it. Then they say, oh, we are doing it. Somebody says, we'll do irrigation. They say, oh, you can't do it. Then they come and say, oh, we are doing it. Now, it is true. They have thought about it. They want to do it, but they cannot do it because they haven't managed to get a leadership commitment. Right. Now, what Nana Akufo-Addo is offering the people of this country, it's a leadership commitment. Once you have the right leadership, there's nothing you cannot do except things that God will not permit. Now, John Mahama, the president, is our friend, but frankly, he has been a disappointment.
To you?
Let me explain. No, ask me to explain. Now explain.
Briefly.
That's nothing to do with the manifesto discussion.
Look. Oh, it has everything to do with the manifesto. We're talking about leadership. And manifestos are important, but they are not the key. The key is leadership. Leadership is cause.
So that's not what's in the
everything else is effect. Now let me explain this to you. Look, President Mahama, he himself says he's been lucky. All these resources available. and we are not moving forward. We are moving back.
Yeah, that's, you see, this issue of moving back and forth, you think we're moving back,
Let me
but
show you.
others think
Let
we're
me
moving
show you.
Right.
You see, they'll tell you, oh, we've done infrastructure, which is true. They've done some infrastructure. But which government didn't do infrastructure?
But yeah, the basics on which you put
No. Look,
of course, every government does it.
let me show you a simple matter. In 2008, when we didn't have the additional infrastructure, we grew at 9.1. 8 years down the line, that we have been told we have all this additional infrastructure. Why are we growing at 4? Bright.
But you know our economy tumbled.
Listen.
Listen
Listen
okay,
carefully.
I
Listen.
have only 5 more minutes.
Okay, let me conclude.
4 minutes. I'm told 4 minutes.
Okay, I'm saying to you that in 2008, when we didn't have circle interchange, and we didn't have Ridge Hospital extension, and we didn't have Kaswa interchange,
You exhaust all the 4 minutes.
we were
He's wrapping up.
senior. Listen to the
Then
good
I wrap
news.
up.
Listen
Then
to
I
the
wrap
good
up.
news.
You have to wrap up.
Now,
So I can say
Bright,
what you
it's
say.
Bright that I'm speaking to because he's a young man.
No,
So
wrap up.
he has to be worried about what is happening in
All
Ghana
right.
today.
No, you
Now,
wrap
Bright, you listen. In 2008, when we didn't have circle interchange,
Right.
and we didn't have Kaswa interchange, and we didn't have Ridge Hospital extension, and all the things they said they've done, we were growing at 9.1. How come today that they say they had roads, Eastern Corridor, Western Corridor, Central Corridor, hey, cocoa production is falling from 1 million tons to 700? Why? Because you say it's the infrastructure that is going to...
I'm grateful.
So, can you understand it?
No, I'm grateful.
Can I explain
Okay.
this to you?
Oh, no. All right.
These are
a quick one, and then we'll wrap up.
basic economic
A quick one,
rules
then
and principles. You are raising an issue about why is it that we are importing everything. We are a member of the WTO. I guess you know that. You were in the Ministry of Employment. You know there are WTO rules, and you have to allow exchange of goods. You have to open your market. So you can't prevent things from coming into your market. That's number
Then
one.
why are you
Number
complaining?
We haven't complained.
You are complaining about the structure of the economy.
Can I?
You want me to read what John Mahama said? in
Can I
2000?
finish?
right, then
I'm wrapping
allow
up.
him
So
to-
just so we don't get bogged down by the fact that the GDP grew at 8% in 2008 and is growing at 4%. They are basic. This is basic, simple economics. When the GDP grows bigger, typically, and it happens in every country, it tapers down once the base is growing bigger. But if you go into absolute numbers, the volume of income that comes in at a particular time when it's growing even slower can be more than what the rate at which it was growing in the past. So let's not reduce it to because it was growing at 8% and it's growing at 4%, it means it's decelerating. No, that's not the reason. There are conditions under which economies grow. So let's drop that argument because it doesn't. And then you claim we had.
You're suggesting that we were growing at 9% and we are at 4 or 2. It doesn't mean anything.
No. I'm saying basically that if you are making a comparison that in the past it
Right.
grew at 8% and because
So we
we
should
are
continue
growing,
growing, but
so
now we're going down.
it can grow faster, but it can also decelerate gently. But it doesn't mean that the economy is reversing. No.
I see.
Yes. Basically, it doesn't mean that you're reversing. It means it's growing all right, and it's a positive trend. Sometimes it grows a little less, and then it goes up. If you look at the trend over time, you can see sometimes it dips, sometimes it grows, depending on the context in which it operates. So let's not reduce it to because it was 8% and it's growing at 4%. The economy is decelerating. No.
Well, there are two
So
business.
then let me just finish.
I was going to show you.
All right.
No.
Fallacy.
Okay.
Let me show you.
No.
Dr.
I think
it's wrapping.
I've just heard him talk about 100 factories. Are they building 100 factories or they're
Now
building
he's suggesting
216
that money
factories?
could have built 100 factories.
No. He's saying that it is better to build 100 factories because that would have been something. So I just want to get it clear that are they talking now about 100 factories or are they talking about 216 factories They should do the
We are
computation.
talking of 275. Now, right.
No, 16.
16
Just
for the
16.
district.
Yes, yes.
So
for
216
right.
factors.
You see,
Okay.
this
No,
business-
hold on.
Thank you for the
We're wrapping
clarification. So I
Yes.
just wanted to get that.
Now you've got
They are
it.
building 216 factories. And you did the computation 35 million. So we'll multiply that by the 260 and not the 100 that you are proposing.
How much will it be?
No, I don't know. You
Oh.
said.
Okay, Dr.
Okay, I think basically, let me just say that we are not looking up to NPP to give us direction as to where we'll go in their manifesto, which they can't even launch, they can't even speak about. So they should forget about our argument. We are going to launch our manifesto and continue when we return in January 2017.
Now, Brad, all that I want to say
Oh, no, I thought we had
no, just 2 seconds. So that nobody comes to sit here and tell you this again. This business about the base of the economy being large is not true. If you look at it in dollar terms, which is the real terms, the size of the economy is coming down.
No,
Just check.
that's
Number
not
two.
true. That's not
Number
true.
two.
That
This
is
business
absolutely
that
not true.
I'll show you. This business
That's
that
not
because the base is growing, the rate will not be the same. It's not true. Because
It happened in China.
in between
Happened in
2001 and 2008, we grew 4.2, 4.5, 5.2, 5.8, 6.2, 6.3, 7.3, and then the last year 9.1. Consecutively, the rate was going up, even though the base was also going up. So what is he talking about?
He rejects
Now,
the
how
argument
come
by
how
just growing
come
up.
that
This
we
is
all
very
right?
simplistic.
No, I'm grateful.
Yeah, but
I need to
that's
wrap
reality.
up. No, I'm so grateful. Nana Kumia is a communications director of the NPP. Grateful for your time this morning. Wish you a great weekend, and thanks for the cake.
It's my pleasure.
And Dr. William Hadi is the director of research of the NDC. Great weekend too.
Thank
Hope
you
to
very
see
much.
you in
Same
about
to
2
you.
weeks' time.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. And those of you who watched us, we're grateful for your time this morning.